Welcome back to Combat Sports Weekly. I'm Jorge Hernandez.
And I'm Jody Escobar. We're here with a panel of experts. They're going to fight.
To the death.
Verbally. They'll have 30 seconds to weigh in on the subject.
So let's go ahead and get it started. Time for our roundtable. Joining us, he's a longtime member and an air guitarist of the combat sports community, Dave Freelander of the Combat Sports Club. Welcome, Dave. It's a pleasure to have you here. Oh, he's getting out of control.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Just to the right of him, we have Justin Goodrum of the Low Blow MMA Boxing Podcast. Second time we have you on, man. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hopefully it becomes a routine. And next to him, our returning champion, Micah Frankel, Cage Minds MMA. You're 3 for 3, man. You're batting 1,000. Welcome back.
Love this chair. It's my stool in the corner.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. So let's go ahead and go off here for our first topic. Premier boxing champions on NBC, first time in 30 years. Justin, did you get a load of the fight? What did you think of the presentation? Did it kind of take a little bit of the pro wrestling model?
Not really. More took of the UFC model per se. I think the commentary was kind of weird. I love Marv Albert, but I just felt like he was maybe sleepwalking through some of his boxing commentary there. But overall, the presentation, I like Al Michaels. I like the presentation of the fights. I wish there was some music for the entrances, but overall, I liked it.
So the entrances actually had some, orchestra actually playing. Do you think that takes away a lot from the fighters' personal entrances?
It did a lot, especially for Adrian Broner. Here's this flamboyant guy. He comes out to this orchestra. It was pretty awkward and weird. So.
Yeah, Micah, what did you think about it? Obviously, we'll touch base on the fights, but overall, the presentation, UFC on Fox type or completely different?
I like the big screen in the background. That was cool, having the fighters' pictures and it staying up during the fight. I just thought it was awkward that they all kind of came down the same aisle. It looked like because there was 2 aisles. So I liked the presentation. It had a uniqueness to it, especially with the single podium commentator. It was different. It was unique.
Yeah, but obviously it did well in the numbers. It won the 19 to, I think, the 18 to 49
numbers everyone
demographics.
would fight for.
It definitely does.
Exactly.
Dave, to you, obviously, you remember boxing being on network television almost every other weekend.
I was probably,
I think he's calling me old.
I think he is, but I'm proud to say I'm probably the oldest guy here and the only one who saw the Larry Holmes Call the Truth Williams fight. What was that, about 1985, the last time they had prime time. And I have to say, there was more hype. It seems like they are taking some cues from what the UFC's doing. But I think that's what's going to take. It's going to take boxing being in every man's living room for them to make that comeback they want so bad.
Jody, you wanted this pretty bad, and you had it.
I agree. I think it's great. Like you said, it's going to have to be something that's working right now. And whether if they have to steal a little bit from what the UFC is using. I didn't like the No Fighter Song intro. As a fighter, I know that kind of gets me into the place where I need to be mentally. And so maybe that changes. But I thought it was great. I'm excited. Boxing's here, people. Boxing, boxing, boxing.
Maybe the rhythm was something that Adrian Broner and John Molina Jr., were obviously affected on not coming on with their own music. So we move on to the next topic here. Keith Thurman, obviously for 80% of the fight, pretty dominant against Robert Guerrero. What do you think about his chances at welterweight against Floyd Mayweather?
Not very good, to be honest. I mean, I was impressed by the performance, but Mayweather is just such a great defensive fighter. We've seen him against larger guys before. He usually adapts and overcomes because of his defense. I think Keith Thurman, he's kind of has a long way to go. But I like what I saw, but as a contender, I just don't see it.
So 10%, 20% chance that he's the next guy to fight Floyd Mayweather? Or is he do you think too big and someone Mayweather will stay away from?
Too big, he'll stay away from him completely.
Yeah.
Probably like 5% chance.
And what about you? Do you think anyone will actually, you have a few extra seconds here, do you think anyone will ever even step close to Mayweather, even one of these younger guys like Keith Thurman?
The older he gets, there will be somebody younger that comes up that will catch him as he slows down eventually. Father Time's undefeated, but who that will be, I don't know off the top of my head.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so any of those guys you don't think possess any of the young guys?
No one that I've seen yet.
I mean, Amir Khan is a guy that we think about.
Right.
Robert Guerrero obviously has already fought him on the way out. So it'd be very difficult to actually do that. But as far as that main event, I think it was the last 3 rounds. Did that kind of get you back into the card, even though it was kind of boring at the beginning?
His fight, that Thurman fight, got me back into the card after that Broner debacle. Him dancing around, he could have just finished the fight, it would have been more entertaining. So I was thoroughly entertained. He showed everything you wanted: good offense, good defense. Even came back from adversity with the hematoma on his head. It was a complete performance. Just don't know if it's that super world caliber best boxer in the world performance.
Yeah, we're shorting you on time here just a little
champion
bit,
took
but just
over.
Mayweather in general. What do you think?
You know, I think Thurman looks like cruiserweight. Mayweather, I agree. As he starts to fade, somebody, you know, he'll probably retire undefeated. I don't think he'll let himself get into the losers column.
Yeah, and you know, we move on from that category to another one, a guy that's pretty dominant. You know what? Let me ask you about that one. We didn't get your thoughts on the.
Let me ask you about that one. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Keith Thurman, the way he actually boxed in that fight, is something that we're not used to actually seeing him. When you have a guy that has a combination of power and boxing skills, it's very difficult to deal with, even for a guy like a Floyd Mayweather. Essentially, both guys. Obviously, the power and the boxing skills in general obviously have to go to
yes
Mayweather.
Yes or no? Does he have a chance?
Does he have a chance? I'd give him a 30% chance of actually winning that fight. Is it possible? I don't think so. So thank you for lending me your time.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move from that topic of the best fighter in the world to possibly another guy that can potentially become the best fighter in the world in Anthony Pettis. Is there anyone that can beat him? He's more than a 4-1 favorite against Dos Anjos. How do you feel about him?
You know, I'd love to see a Cowboy Cerrone take it to him, but I ultimately think it's going to be some Russian somewhere that we haven't even heard of yet, some guy from the K Dojo. You know, these Russians, especially coming out in that 45, 55, that range, I think it's going to take somebody like that because of Dos Anjos' ability to hold you down and grapple. Yeah. A pure striker isn't going to be able to get up from the ground. But we'll see. I think Pettis has proven his critics wrong, but this by far will be his biggest test.
Right. And he mentioned Russians. Is Khabib a guy that's going to beat him, Justin?
I know you like him a lot.
I love Khabib.
I just don't see it. I think Anthony Pettis is a class above the entire division. We've seen him destroy everyone. And quite honestly, his only challenger is in the 145-pound division. That's Jose Aldo, to be honest.
How can this guy can he be the face of MMA, do you think? I mean, he's on the Wheaties box, obviously, right now. I went to Walmart the other day and I saw him, and I was pretty surprised. I had fallen off that whole Wheaties train on him.
I think, for me, Ronda Rousey is more of a face of MMA overall. But it's just because of Anthony Pettis has a bland personality, Ronda Rousey's more exciting to talk to.
Yeah. Micah, what do you think?
Nurmagomedov, Tony Ferguson, Ally Aquinta. Pettis has won 4 fights in a row. Is he he's close to being a great champion? Yeah, he still needs to make 2 more title defenses before he's the longest reigning lightweight champion. He's not yet tied the record with Benson Henderson and BJ Penn. And I still say that's the deepest division in MMA. There's a lot of tests still to be proven. He hasn't won that many fights in a row.
Thank you for pronouncing Khabib's last name correctly, because I would have butchered that. So I really appreciate that. One more time.
Nurmagomedov.
You want to try that one?
No, I'm good.
What do you think about Anthony Pettis?
I think it's great. I agree with David. I think that, of course I agree with David and wanting to see Cowboy take it to him, but you know, I think he's great. We'll see. I think he has a couple more tests to really prove that championship type status.
I think how awesome would that be to see him and Cerrone possibly, go at it, and Cerrone finally get another title shot.
I have so much respect for Donald Cerrone. I think he's one of the coolest, hardworking guys in the gym. He's so humble. He's so grateful for his team. He would be a great champion. I think he's absolutely crazy, but people love it.
Yeah, we're over a little bit. Timing was off on some of us just because we had so much to say about all of these topics. But thank you guys for coming in. Yeah, great input. I think Anthony Pettis is going to be exciting to watch him fight tomorrow night. But as for you, make sure to keep it in tune to Combat Sports Weekly on Facebook. Also, follow us on Twitter. We need to get those followers up. We'll catch you guys next week. Keep an eye out on the website for our guest next week. See you guys.